Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Sound Talk Show. So today we are going to code Emacs Lisp, writing a major mod, Python mod from the ground up, from the scratch, okay? And I'm just going to begin. And the keyboard you are looking at is Expose, okay? I've shown here, you just search for Xali keyboard and you'll see my ergonomic keyboard reviews. And as you know, I reviewed them, and today this one is Expose. It's excellent, okay? That's this one, okay? I'm just going to start to code. So write a major mod from the ground up for Python. Why do I want to write that? Because let's start Python, okay? The Python mod, I don't like it. That is why. So you're gonna learn from, you can write your own mod, whatever new language, or for Golang or for JavaScript, you can write your own. So I'm gonna show you. And if I'm gonna do this live, but you can find all the details how to do it just by going to my website, xali.info, Emacs, how to write a major mod. So, syntax coloring, beginning with this one, syntax coloring, font lock, what does it do? How do you code it, define phase, color comments, writing a command to comment or uncommon, and keyboard completion, you want to complete names, so you can read them and you can learn it. So, but I'm going to do a live one. But I did this in 2001. So last year, almost exactly a year ago, I did one, write a major mod. And so last time, a year ago, this is writing a major mod for Golang. Fantastic. In fact, if I code Golang, let's see. In fact, if I code Golang, I'm using my own mod. So you see, so you can see you see, this is a Golang template. Every Golang needs all these lines of code. So I can start to code. Let's say print 2 plus 3, okay? And I want to format them very nicely. I just press Tab F. You see, I can, in fact, let me demo, okay? Let's merge all these together and demonstrate the power of Golang's Go format, okay? So you see, the whole code is not one line, but I press a key, bam, it reformat them, and I run it. When you run Golang for the first time, it takes a while. So you see, result is 5, 2 plus 3. And now let's delete this and run it. 5, okay? And now reformat again, so you can have arbitrary complex code and reformat. Okay, anyway, that's Golang. So, and we are going to write Python, okay? So right now I'm using the default Python mod. How do you find out the mod name of the current mod? Of course, you can look at the status bar, the mod line. In Emacs, this line is called mod line. So, it says Python, but that's not the technical name. So if you want to know what's the current mod, you just say major mod, okay? You want to say describe function on this variable, major mod. So let's call describe function and type major mod. It's already there. Press enter. So now you can see major mod is a variable defined in somewhere, and its value is Python mod. So this string Python-mod, that is the technical name, meaningful to the Emacs Lisp language of the major mod, okay? So right now I'm using my Python mod. Let's import sys. So what I want to do is say import. You see, this is what I don't like about the Python mod. Let's restart. I want to say import sys, okay? But if I type that, it's gonna transform my typing to something else, to another syntax I don't want. So let me type it slowly. Import, okay, space. Then you see it change it to from something. I don't want from something, but let's say sys, okay? And you see it makes you type in the mini buffer. I don't want to type in the mini buffer, it's crammed, into a little space. So okay, sys enter. Then from sys import a function. I don't know what the function name I want, identifier. So let's press enter. So there's no completion. How the fuck do I know what functions in that package? This sucks. So I don't like the default mod. Okay, so let's go to Python mod, describe function, so Python mod. So now you can see here is the Python mod. You can jump to the source code. Okay, we are in the source code, and 5,000, 7,000, almost 6,000 lines of code. Okay, let's start from scratch. Let's just write our own. Okay, so pop this back. Let's print sys version. I think that's how you print version. You see, I got Python 3.9. Okay, so let's start to write. Let's begin to write the Python mod. Okay, so start a new code block Emacs Lisp. That's right, and pop it out. Okay, so Python mod. Okay, so what we can do is just copy paste all the information here. So Emacs Lisp, writing a major mod for syntax coloring. There are many things involved. There are many features of a major mod. Syntax coloring is the most primary fundamental. When you go to a programming language, the first thing you want is syntax coloring. Then, okay, let me explain what are the major elements, what are the major features of using a major mod. If you have questions and comments, post it. Okay, I'm doing well, thank you. So major mod, the first thing you want is syntax coloring most of the time. Then font lock mod is related to syntax coloring, about details of it. Define phase is also detail. Color comment is also part of it, syntax coloring, but there's a different mechanism. Then what you want is a command to comment and uncomment. You see, that's part of the major mod, because every language has different syntax for comment. So comment and uncomment, syntax coloring. Then you have keyword completion. Okay, now let's see. So for example, in Emacs, so I want to say define. I can say DE and press tab. I got all the words in Emacs Lisp, so I can complete. So I can say F define. Okay, that one. Okay, that's keyword completion. So you need that. So syntax coloring, comment, command, comment, uncomment, keyword completion you want. Then key map, of course. Key map is, because in Emacs everything is keystrokes, so you need to know how to create your own, how to define, what keys bind to what command. Okay, key map. Then the other elements is a brief template. This is critical. This is fantastic. Okay, this feature is actually not often used in other major mods, in other building mods in Emacs for whatever language. They don't use this much, but I find this is the most useful. Emacs is a brief template for major mod. For example, if I want to define a function, I can just say press D, press space, it becomes define, and press space again, it becomes the whole thing. And I can say insert I space again, it creates the whole syntax template for that function. So let's see something more complex. Let's say while loop. Okay, press enter. You see, I got this whole thing. This allows me to. This is one of the idiom in Emacs. It allows you to search and replace. And if you don't want that, you can, of course, change it. When, while. Okay. So, for example, while x greater than, okay, so greater than x, let's say less than, less than lt space, it becomes, the syntax. So less than x less than 10, then you do something here. Something, let's say insert x. For example, that's a while loop. And you can press tab 2 times, it reformat the whole thing for you. So anyway, formatting, that's another feature. So anyway, so the brief template is tremendously useful. Then you have text properties. That's kind of the internal thing you need to know. Overlay highlighting, that's another internal thing, usually part of major mod. For example, I want to highlight all the words. Let's go to a big Emacs Lisp code. So you see this file has a few thousand lines, stuff like keys. I want to highlight all the, let's go up. Let's say I want to highlight all functions that contains the word save, okay? So I can press that, it calls a highlight command. Then I say save and enter. It asks me what color, so high yellow, okay? So you can see now all the words in the buffer that contains the function names, contains the word save is all colored. This is extremely useful. This is because when you work with code, sometimes you just want to see where a certain function occur in a easy, in a very apparent manner. So you can see, anyway. So that's highlight, okay? And how does it work? You see this highlight yellow. How does it work? Well, that works by using the mechanism in Emacs called overlay highlighting. So there are 2 mechanisms to highlight a word, and I have covered in the past. Yeah, I have covered this one in the past. So, and lookup doc, that's another feature you want in a major mod. For example, right now in Emacs Lisp is trivial because Emacs come with Emacs Lisp. So if you want to have a function, like look up the documentation of the current function, you can just say describe function. It's all, you see, so you can, so right now you are looking at the documentation for the buffer file name function. So, it says returns the name of file, buffer is visiting or nil if not, you can look up any word, for example, interactive, describe function, interactive. So you can see interactive is, a special form in C code, in C source code, and blah, blah, blah. But if you are in another language, JavaScript, PHP, Python, Ruby, Golang, C++, you need to have a feature so that user can press a button and it will take them to the documentation. For example, let's go to Wolfram language. Wolfram language, let's say I want to list all file names in a directory recursively. So what I can do is I can just file name, okay, press tab for completion, okay, that's the one I want, enter, and I got this, that's how you get all file names. So what does this function do? So I can press a key, tab H, it goes to the browser, the appropriate location to show the documentation of the current function. Okay, so that is a feature you want to add to your major mod. Very convenient. And very easy too. You can see it's only like 10 lines, So the trick is, you want to, spend time. You want to, a lot of people use Emacs, but they never learned Emacs Lisp. So you do want to set yourself a goal that you want to maybe create a major mod. Let's say some programming language you work most often. So that way will get you started in learning Emacs Lisp. Because you don't actually need to, because there's a lot of packages already, thousands of them. But oftentimes you need some feature, it's not there. Then also when you install packages, sometimes you are frustrated because this package, for example, the Python, close. For example, let's see, go back to Python. Okay, so let's go to MetaX Python mod. Okay, so I'm using Python mod. I want to import something and it fucking changed me to some other thing. I don't want that. Okay, but if you don't want that, how do you fix it? Well, you have to look into so how do I, for example, import space? So apparently it has some kind of trigger. So when you press space, it looks at the it's very annoying. I really don't like this behavior. So when you press space, the Python mod probably looks up on the word before it and check to see if it's some of the keyword. If it is, then it calls a function. Then it delete that, it delete what you typed and it calls a function, import. It deletes that, change it to from, then call a function, then pop up and ask you a bunch of questions, idiotic. So you can, for example, let's go to Python mod. Okay, describe function Python mod. Okay, so let's go to so here's a documentation, the doc string for Python mod function, basically the documentation for the major mod. So let's go to the source code, and then we can look at where does it change. For example, if I want to fix this problem of Python changing things, so I have to look at the source code, and in order to do this, you have to know Emacs Lisp. So that's why I'm saying that you should set yourself a goal of some small project that will get you stick to learning Emacs Lisp. And Emacs Lisp is very powerful if you are an Emacs user, if you know some Emacs Lisp. So Python mod, so I want to fix it. The thing is, oftentimes if you know a lot Emacs Lisp, I've been coding Emacs Lisp for 15 years. So if you know a lot Emacs Lisp, it would be faster to fix the problem by just writing it from scratch. That's why I want to do it today, writing the Python mod from scratch instead of looking into the Python mod and see if there is a variable, a setting I can change it to the way I like. Let's look at list matching lines, and let's look at all the defined var variables to see if maybe there's some of them that can turn off that smart feature. I don't know. Let's see. Let's look for the word smart. Okay, it's not there. Let's look for the word smart. Okay, let's look for the word auto. Indentation. Okay, there's the default Python mod indentation I also don't like. Auto load, auto something. Okay, I don't know. So close that. Let's look for the word import. It must be there somewhere because it's changing my my typing, users typing of import. Python skeleton, I don't like it. Skeleton is so I don't like, once you know a language, then you develop your own style and ways, and certain things you just don't like. I don't like this a bunch of coding skeletons to do things. Skeletons is a package in Emacs, building in Emacs Lisp that helps you create templates. Basically, it's a template system. So how is it different from just using Emacs Lisp? Well, the thing is, the skeleton package, it kind of helps you create templates. For example, let's say, just like defun, help you create templates without having to know Emacs Lisp. That is a key. for the skeleton package. Okay, but I don't like it because I compare to a brief. You don't need it. Okay, in my opinion. By the way, that's why you also have there's a lot of completions. They kind of all not necessary. So anyway, the reason I don't like the skeleton is because you don't need it. If you know Emacs Lisp, they don't, they Emacs Lisp, by playing Emacs Lisp is much more powerful, and for what skeleton can do without knowing Lisp, you can do that with a brief. Okay, for what skeleton package can do with a little Emacs Lisp, then you can do that with Emacs Lisp itself without knowing more than what skeleton requires. So skeleton package is not too useful in my opinion, and it was created some 20 or 30 years ago. But why is that in Python mod it's using skeleton? It looks like, just by judging by the naming of things. So let's look at what exactly it's using. Python skeleton class. Oh, maybe it's not. Okay, I was wrong. So I cannot find the name of that skeleton definition. Okay, there it is. Oh yeah, it's using skeleton. No good. You see here, Python skeleton define. You see these things, strings. That's a template. That's the template syntax for the skeleton package. It's trying to it's trying to think that you don't have to know too much Lisp, because you see it's all just a bunch of strings, but it allows you to insert templates, but it's no good, because if you learn skeleton, you see you still have some Lisp. You see this part is the actual kind of semi Emacs Lisp code. So anyway, so let's look at the skeleton. We are digressing, of course. We are digressing a lot. So there it is, define macro. Okay, again, I don't like macro. So another random comment to you Lisp people, if you are a beginner, never, ever, when you code Emacs Lisp or any other, I would say other Lisp, scheme Lisp, common Lisp, never use the macro feature, because the way when you hear about people talking about Lisp, why it is so good, the Lisp fanatics will say, oh, it's Lisp macro. In their opinion, in their, is like the macro is a god of a feature of languages. But actually, Lisp macro is one of the sickest, okay? And then people stop because of this fad, just like OOP. You in OOP you have, people insist everything must be an object. So oftentimes, for example, in Python, you have lots of Python code that's OOP, but it's just bloat. You can do it with one single function, but in OOP it's 10 classes and whatnot. Fuck, So in some sense, sometimes it's bloat, and that happens when you have a code-like thing. OOP is the best thing. Therefore, everything must be OOP. Therefore, this single function, I'm going to change it into an OOP model. It's idiocy. In the same way, in Lisp code, there's a lot. Hold on a second, my alarm clock. So in Lisp code, there is this fantasy, this code that Lisp macro is the best thing. You need to macro. So that's why you are seeing a macro. So this Python mod is trying to define a macro based on the skeleton package. Let me show you the skeleton package. Okay. Okay, anyway, it must be on top. So you can just see require, you search for require, you'll see skeleton. Where is it? skele. Okay. Okay, they didn't even what? Fancy color tramp shell. I would be surprised if so. Who wrote this? Fabian E. Galina. I don't know who he is, and he's got the GitHub. So I look. Okay, so usually I look who wrote them and why, and look at the history of things. Today I'm kind of distracted into other things because I meant to write a Python major mod from the scratch. But again, like I said, I have already done this last year, so you can, if you really want to learn about how to write a major mod from scratch, you can look at last year's video or just look at my tutorial already written. So what are we doing now? So this guy wrote Python. So right now we want to find the skeleton. Why? SKELET. Okay, so skeletons. So skeletons are provided for simple inserting of things like class definition for import if y. Okay, so now I'm guessing it is this skeleton thing that's fucking up things when I type import. It's trying to be smart. Okay, these skeletons are integrated with a brief. Okay, if you have a brief mod activated and Python skeleton auto insert is set to true, then whenever you type the name of any of those defined hit space, they will automatically expand. Okay, as an alternative, you can use the defined skeleton command, Python skeleton. Okay, so I don't know. So I don't know where the. So I think they implemented skeleton by themselves without using the skeletons package. Is that true? Yeah, so but you see, these are templates. These are templates which I think is no good. You see this line, probably this part is fucking up my typing of import. Why do they do that? Because Python is one of the language that has a code. So meaning that they want to tell you how your code should be, your code style. They have a passion or obsession of how your coding style should be in Python or how you code things. So according to them, you should use import. You should use the from instead of the import something syntax. Let me show you. So Python is one of the worst language. Today is actually the worst among, because there are so many new languages with great features. Golang and Ruby is much better than Python, and Ruby is even older than Python by half a year or something, or maybe the other way around. Ruby is much better, much more elegant, much more consistent, and much more terse than Python, and much more understandable Ruby. Okay, the only reason why is Python today is one of the most popular language among the top 3 or so. Why? Because Google, for 2 reasons. One is in around 2000, Google made it popular because Google chose it as their in-house scripting language to year 2000. Okay, that is the time when programmers started to hear about Python. Oh, Python, Google is using it. Oh, therefore, I'm gonna use it too. Google, year 2000. Then, year 2008 also, Ruby became extremely popular because Ruby on Rails. In year 2008, that's like Ruby on Rails. Then Python the Python language truly sucks. Okay, it's falling, it's getting less and less popular. But then around 2010, Google once again, because the machine learning, the neural networks, Google is pumping out Python code. Python, because Python is too slow, it can't actually do any machine learning code. Those code are written in C++. But Python is just the front end, the interface. So Google is doing a lot of machine learning. Google is advertising their power and so on and on. And Google is using Python for their scripting language. So all their libraries, the front end is Python. So this is why, this is the second time Python becomes popular. That essentially that's the only reason this Python is truly sucky, the worst. And the Guido van Rossum, among all programming language creators I studied, I looked into, Wolfram language, Stephen Wolfram, Lisp, the McCarthy, Lisp, Golan, Rob Pike, and Ken Thompson, I think. But Rob Pike, which is a Unix phonetics. Of all the programming, Perl, Larry Wall, which is a crackpot, of all the programming language, and JavaScript by the Ike, Brendan Ike, JavaScript. You look at all the creators of programming languages. You look at their, you try to look into their IQ, or how much do they know. And Java, Java is from Gosling, who is very smart and wrote one of the first Emacs. You look at, of all the people, Guido van Rossum is the most idiotic, the most low IQ among them all, in my judgment. Okay. But among them, the different people have different personalities. Some are talkative, they talking all the time or giving conferences. They are under the limelight all the time, such as Richard Stallman, while some are just quiet. They don't talk too much. TCL, for example, the creator of TCL language, today is kind of died out. TCL, but back in year 2000 is very popular, alongside Perl, TCL. So the guy who created TCL, he's kind of academic guy. He's not, like talking drama all the time, like JWZ, fuckhead, Jamie Zoinski, fuckhead, who is famous for, hacker, creating the Netscape, for the Unix version. He babbles all the time, and dramatically. And also Linus Torvald, he created Linux. He's also the dramatic guy. He's like flaming you. You are an idiot. That Linux Torvald. But some of the language creators, they are more quiet. Rob Pike, for example, who created lots of UTF-8. He created UTF-8. Last week I did a video on Unicode. Watch that, okay? So Rob Pike, he created UTF-8 and lots of Unix things and Plan 9, and he basically also created Golan with another guy. I forgot, Ken Thompson, I think, or maybe another, I forgot. But anyway, so Rob Pike is also one of the chatty guy and dramatic. He write a lot, like me. You can classify me as one of the more chatty and dramatic. But anyway, I was going to say of all the programming language creators I know, the guy Guido van Rossum is the most low IQ. Okay. but he also have a personality that he think he's the best designer. He created Python. He want to revolutionize the programming education. He in his vision Python 3000. He want every school to use Python. Worst language. The reason I learned Python is because in 2006, Perl is the reigning language for scripting. Perl is everywhere, and Perl is just a Unix code, very strong code. More than one thing to do it. The first postmodern language, Perl. Full of Unix code and crap. So I thought Python is better, but Python is kind of opposite, but not. But it's like it's a trap. Okay, it's got this passive aggressive. It's a passive aggressive code, Python, and the Python people, of course, because of Guido van Rossum, they are all kind of telling you what to do, but in some implicit way, that like you should do it this way or that way. So anyway, Python. So we were talking about that because we were talking about the import syntax, the most idiotic design, okay, filled with it, Python. Let me show you the import, okay, the import situation. So there it is, import module, okay. So when import, recently I updated this function, these sections. So you see, yeah, so you see, so you have two syntax for, more than, you have two, primarily two syntax to import some module. So one is just import module name, then the other one is from module name, import name, keyword, function name, 1, 2, 3. Fucking idiotic fuck Python. This, so why, so first of all, you see, and there are other ways, okay? But anyway, so these two major ways, why is it no good? Because you can see, first of all, you have two different syntax. These two syntax are not the same thing. It's not like one is just part of the other. No, they are like two completely different statements that are basically doing about the same thing. Yet, one of the, part of the statement of the, this one happens as part of the syntax of the other completely different statement. So, you see, let me explain this one, okay? Because when syntax is one of the things I focus the most in programming languages, in my study of programming languages, and syntax is more important than semantics. Some computer scientist idiots, they write a book, they say, oh, syntax is not important, it's a semantic. Those are idiots, okay? So let me explain why this Python import syntax sucks, okay? You see, first of all, you have import something, that's a syntax, meaning that that's something you type, it has a meaning to the Python language, okay? Import then something module name, okay? Now look at this syntax, from module name, import name 1, name 2. Now, you can see the import something happens exactly here, in two places. Import something that has a meaning, but then this from something import something, the second part import something happened there. But here, their meaning is completely different, okay? In the first example, in the first syntax, the import something, the argument, or, import is not a function, so technically it's not correct to call it an argument. But, it's a statement. So import something, that thing, what you call is non-terminal in parsing context. So this non-terminal module name should be a module name. But in the alternative syntax, this import something, those names are not module names, okay? Those names are identifiers or function and variable names in the module, okay? So in the outset, you have a problem. What is the problem? It's confusing. Because if you are programming, you see exactly the same thing, import something, import ABC. In one place, the ABC means one thing. In the other place, it means something else, okay? So that's why this design is just idiotic. who do you blame? Guido von Rossum, idiot. And by the way, it's let me get to political stuff. Guido von Rossum also joined the social justice warrior gang. There's a video of him talking about, I'm not going to teach programming to any males. I'm going to exclusively teaching girls, mentor. I'm gonna just mentor women because that fucking not a good thing to do. Okay, so but I don't think Guido von Rossum is not a bad person. Okay, I don't think he's a bad person, and even as a social justice warrior, I don't think he's not really doing something harmful. Meanwhile, there's a lot of them doing very bad things, but I'm not going to talk about that here. But anyway, so Guido von Rossum, I don't think he's he doesn't have a high status in my mind. Okay, to me. So anyway, let's back to the technical thing, syntax. So he created this, but then you see, these two are different because one is just importing a module. Okay, the other one is lets you select the names, but stupid syntax. And it's he likes to the Python language. Look at the way this syntax is designed. It's like English. Almost like from a module name then import. It's just idiot. Okay, just idiot. You see, then you can see this. This part, it allows you to use an asterisk. And now, if you do this, then it's what's the difference between that and this? I'm not sure even there's a technical difference. Maybe there is, but it's just idiotic. So anyway, so we digressed a lot, and maybe we are not going to write a Python mod from scratch today. Let's see where we want to go. Yeah, so we were talking about the skeleton thing. Okay, so I think the Python mod, this major mod written by this guy, he actually created his own skeleton without using the skeleton package. Let me show you what I mean. So in Emacs Lisp, you have a skeleton package. You can see it by, let's see, by calling apropos. Okay, so let's see. Apropos, you call metax apropos command, then you type skeleton. Okay, so you can see. Okay, that's not what we want. Okay, so here, this one. Yeah, so you see, here is a package, skeleton.el. So let's go to the directory. This package, skeleton.el, is part of Emacs. Okay, and you open it, and this is the package, 600 lines that lets you define templates without knowing too much Emacs Lisp. That's what we were talking about. But the Python mod is also using skeleton, but the issue is I don't think it's actually using the package, but it's emulating, it's doing what skeleton is doing, but the guy created it himself, something like, maybe. So let's see, skeleton read. Okay, anyway. So lots of digression. I think we are not going to code it because to code the Python mod from scratch will take half an hour. But we can, yeah. If I do it right now, even if I do them the fastest as I can, it will take 20 minutes. Yeah, so let's not do it. We can do it another day. Okay, I'm going to read comments, and that will be it for today. Hello, immortality. Christian Samp. Okay. What's going on? Magnify. So Ludwig, a question. So macros can grow into too many categories in a workflow. I'm not sure what you mean. Okay, that's it for today. As for the keyboard, so let's just talk random then. Let's talk, fantastic keyboard. Let me show you. Can you see? Yeah, so we have color red, and let's change it to. That's it for today. So I'm gonna do some random green. Now because I got the lousy camera, so I got two $40, so this Logitech $80. Idiot, fuck, this stupid camera, so you cannot see well. I need to buy, so donate. Okay, time to donate. Buy me a camera. Amazon, go to my Amazon, buy, send me a gift card, and you can see from. Yeah, so let's talk. Let me talk about some keyboard a little bit. So what are we doing? So pop this back. So Xali, first of all, Xali info. So go to my website, xali.info, and you can donate all the way to the bottom. Donate Patreon, Amazon gift card, PayPal. Okay, and we are going to, about keyboard. So, I'm not giving up Kinesis Advantage. I'm using both are great, okay? The Kinesis Advantage, these two are my top favorite. But I've been using the Kinesis Advantage for like 4 years, 5 years. So so for a change, I'm using the Expose. And it so happens my Kinesis Advantage, it has a Cherry Emacs silent red switch, meaning it's linear. Okay, it's linear and light, which is great. However, my Expose, it's got a Gateron red, and it's even lighter. It's linear and even lighter, significantly. So I prefer the the Gateron red switches much more. Because if I have to type a lot, this lighter linear switch is much more. The Cherry MX Red Silent is already very good, but this one is even lighter. So for a change, I just want to, change my keyboard for a while. Cone keyboard, that's one of those 40%. It's crap. Okay, that's it for today. Yeah, I think so. Let's see. No, I don't make mistakes if they are like, no. Okay, that's it for today. Bye, guys.